Ladies and gentlemen, in a rare moment of political sobriety amidst Zimbabwe's daily circus of cronyism, disappearing budgets and recycled press statements, something truly unexpected happened this week. A spark of spine from the Citizens Coalition for Change MPs. On Wednesday, 21 May 2025, 45 legislators, not influencers, not ghost candidates, but actual sitting members of parliament, gathered for what would be no ordinary caucus. In a political landscape where silence is safer than service, these MPs didn't just meet to discuss potholes or postpone by-elections. No, they declared parliament a war zone. And they walked in armed with resolutions, righteous anger, and something rarely seen under the golden dome of Harare. Conviction. This wasn't a caucus meeting. It was a declaration of rebellion, not against ZANU-PF alone, but against the mess within their own house, the CCC. The document that emerged wasn't dripping with vague diplomacy or carefully calculated word salad. It came out sharp and it came out swinging. Right at the top of the list, a blunt slap across the face of Sengezo Chabangu and Welshman Ncube, two men whose names have become synonymous with confusion, recalls, and the ghost of a party hijack. The resolution was clear. No CCC MP or local government official is to attend any meeting called or convened by either of these political specters. For many Zimbabweans, Chabangu is the man who popped out of nowhere like a deleted character from a rejected sitcom and began recalling MPs like he was clearing his WhatsApp contacts. Welshman, on the other hand, was once a respected academic and statesman, but has since been reduced to a kind of wandering oracle of irrelevance, always appearing when the opposition is weakest. What was the message from these MPs? It was enough. No more secret night meetings. No more shady caucuses chaired by people who can't even win what elections. This is political exorcism and the demons are named. Then came the rebranding, a bold and symbolic middle finger to confusion. These MPs declared themselves the Progressive Caucus, a new identity born from the ashes of betrayal and boardroom coups, no longer waiting for instructions from phantom structures or interim secretaries. They've taken control of their narrative. In a nation where opposition has become synonymous with divided, this move was a rare moment of unity, but it's also a direct challenge to ZANU-PF's status quo, to Chabangu's shenanigans, and to the myth that parliament must be a place of polite irrelevance. The Progressive Caucus isn't here to survive. It's here to provoke, disrupt, and if possible, burn down the nonsense to building something functional. The term progressive is doing a lot of work here. It's not just branding. It's bait for the public. It's a promise that maybe, just maybe, someone in the chamber is still fighting for something more than a fuel coupon. And fight they did. They took aim directly at ZANU-PF's latest national pastime, constitutional vandalism, specifically the whispered and not so whispered plan to smuggle through amendments that would extend the life of parliament and that of the presidium beyond 2028, effectively opening the door for another term of Mnangagwa rule under the sugar-coated label of the 2030 agenda. But the Progressive Caucus isn't sipping that tea. In a political climate where too many parliamentarians are either conveniently absent or chronically silent, These MPs have chosen confrontation over comfort. They declared their opposition not just to the constitutional changes, but to the entire idea that Zimbabwe must continue to dance to the rhythm of recycled strongmen and endlessly rebranded dynasties. It's a rejection of tyranny dressed in legal robes, a rejection of 2030 as anything more than a death sentence for democracy. But they didn't stop at resistance. They committed to action, real, structured, continuous action. They announced a plan to issue bi-weekly briefs, updating the public on parliamentary processes, public hearings and petitions. In a country where parliamentary transparency is as rare as clean tap water, this move could be revolutionary. They want to create an interactive platform, a direct feedback loop between citizens and their representatives. Something that feels almost Scandinavian in its ambition. If they pull it off, it could be a very serious blow to the political blackout that most citizens live under. But again, execution is everything. Zimbabwean politicians are world champions at writing beautiful things they never mean to implement. For this to mean anything, the Progressive Caucus must follow through. They must be visible, vocal, and viral. Otherwise, this resolution joins the growing graveyard of forgotten PDFs. Still, with all these bold declarations, the elephant in the room remains. Is this really about principle, or is it about positioning? Political analysts and ordinary citizens alike are already asking uncomfortable questions. Is this truly a Chamisa-aligned caucus rising in defiance of imposed recall and phantom leadership, or are these opportunists smelling the winds of a new political project on the horizon? Chamisa, though currently in the shadows of official politics, is still widely regarded as the people's choice. Is this caucus striking its flag early in anticipation of its comeback? And if so, will Chamisa even acknowledge them? Or will he start from scratch, dragging with him a new team untainted by association with the recalls and the mess? The truth is, in Zimbabwean politics, loyalty is always on trial, and the verdict changes with every press conference. Meanwhile, the twin ghosts of the resolution, Welshman Ncube and Sengezo Chabangu, are unlikely to take this humiliation lying down. These are men who have already demonstrated a willingness to go scorched earth, even if it means scorching the house they once helped build. So don't be surprised if in the coming weeks a fresh batch of recalls starts circulating, just in time to turn Parliament into an even more confused theatre of empty chairs and bitter protest. This is not over, not by a long shot. Zimbabwe has a way of punishing boldness, especially when it threatens to spark actual public confidence. And nothing threatens political vampires more than daylight and voter approval. So, where does this leave us? In one sense, it's a hopeful moment. Real MPs standing up, speaking out, naming enemies, and drawing red lines. But it's also a fragile moment, one that could unravel with just one press statement from ZEC, one court ruling, or one well-funded operation from the shadowy corridors of power. If the Progressive Caucus wants to be remembered, it must deliver, not just statements, but action, substance, legislation, and presence. Zimbabwe doesn't need another bunch of hopefuls. It needs fighters who know the trenches and aren't afraid to bleed for democracy. And as always, if you want to keep hearing the truth behind the filtered headlines, subscribe to Zimwaves TV, the only place where power is stripped of its press release and the people finally get to speak before Sengezo recalls us to.
Mutengesi chenjera, Sengezo chenjera, mazanu aya no kuraya, no kujipapa epaye, zvawa kaita mahwani iwe chabangu, kusasana ne mandu ye Zimbabwe, kutengeza nyika ne kuda chibanzi, nyasiti no kuyambira, kapirikoni chenjera, mutengesi chenjera, zanu inde yeropa, rimwe racho richaverako, zvawa kaita mawani iwe chabangu, kusasana ne mandu ye Zimbabwe, kutengeza nyika ne kuda chibanzi, nyasiti no kuyambira, takazviona pasarudzo, tikazviona muparamende, takakuona unangwena, muchipangana masano, zvawa kaita mawani iwe chabangu, kusasana ne mandu ye Zimbabwe, kutengeza nyika ne kuda chibanzi, nyasiti no kuyambira, urirombe chenjera, hauna fungwa chenjera, zanu ichakurasa, yakurasa yo kusvipa, zvawa kaita mawani iwe chabangu, kusasana ne mandu ye Zimbabwe, kutengeza nyika ne kuda chibanzi, nyasiti no kuyambira, vunza jonzo musoro bangu, aipururudza kare, veuzhinji vachitapwa, nyasi uno aripi, akatoraswa nekusvipa, zvawa kaita mahwani iwe chabangu, kusasana ne mandu ye Zimbabwe, kutengeza nyika ne kuda chibanzi, nyasiti no kuyambira,